Hey friends, today is the day where I show you an updated tiny house tour. So I did a video a while back on our tiny house tour, but our house wasn't quite finished at that time. We still had some cabinets and stuff to put in, but the house is finished except for the outside. You can see it's kind of a funny color. That's just the plain siding that we put on. We're thinking about redoing the siding, so that's why that's not done yet. But it is done, and I'm going to show you everything. And after the tour, I'm going to address some frequently asked questions about our tiny house. It's kind of a neat subject, so make sure you stay till the end to hear the answers to those questions you might have. Judah and I live in northern Kentucky. We don't own this land. This is Judah's parents' land that they're letting us live on for a little bit, but it works for now, and we were able to build our tiny house here when we got married about a year and a half ago. Judah built a porch on our house, which is awesome. I love to sit out here and just hang out, read a book, enjoy nature, but let's go inside. So our house is basically just one big room, and then we have a bathroom that's just on the other side of our kitchen. It's a big open space, and it makes it really easy to move around. It's not, like super cramped like you'd expect tiny houses to be. And we even have a full-size couch. This was one thing we didn't want to compromise on. Over here is where we'll store our Bibles and our games, cards, notebooks, things like that we might want to access easily. Most mornings we'll sit together here on the couch and do our Bible reading together. And here are our books. We don't have a ton, but these are most of the ones that we have out for easy access. This is our desk and our clothes and our storage. The desk has some pretty lights on top. I keep my essential oils up here, my computer, and yes, I use a ball to sit on. This is where all of our clothes are. We have a little closet area where all our hanging clothes go. This is me and Judah, keep in mind. And then down here we have all of our pants and shirts, or t-shirts. This is our little bedroom. I love this space so much. Judah wrote out his wedding vows, and we keep those up here. And then next to it we have a wedding picture. And then over here are my vows that I wrote out for our wedding. Just a good reminder. I love these twinkle lights. We don't use them constantly, but when we do, it just adds a nice atmosphere to the whole house. So every morning when I wake up, this is the view I see. I see literally our entire house, except the bathroom, of course. I made this rug a couple years ago in preparation for getting married and having our first house, so it's just a really sweet thing to have. Now this is our dining room. We don't actually have a real table. Oh, here are our napkins. We use cloth napkins, we're cheap like that. So we don't actually have a real table. We use a folding one for now. Hopefully we will build an island soon. This is where I keep a broom and a Swiffer, some notes of what's in our freezers. This whiteboard holds quotes and my grocery list, which is not there right now. And this is my kitchen. It's big and open. I mean, the whole house is open, but it's pretty easy to work with. I have enough counter space and lots of shelving space. I love my open shelves so I can display my canned goods when I have them, and just some pretty mason jars. Here are some bulk items that I have: popcorn and beans and spices, and then my potatoes and onions and garlic. Here are some dry goods that I love to keep out. They're so pretty to look at. And here's our counter space. This counter was actually a piece of maple plywood that we stained and put polyurethane on top. It works awesome. And this is one of my favorite parts of the kitchen. Judah built these Lazy Susans for me, and I can keep so much stuff in here. On the bottom it fits all of my appliances and some extra food storage, and on the door I even have my lids for my pots and pans. Over here is our little laundry room area. We have a full-size washer and dryer, and these are some of my stain removers and laundry detergent because my husband works hard and gets his clothes dirty. On the side here, I actually made a little apron that holds my clothespins for hanging clothes out on the line, so that's what that pink thing is. And here's our ironing board. It's a little tiny thing that hangs on the side of our washer. And here is a little step ladder for getting up into our loft and our coats. And And the bathroom is right around the corner here. So this is actually a normal sized bathroom. It may look kind of small, but it is, I mean, you can definitely have 1 or 2 people in there and you can turn around nice and easy. And I wanted to show you our ceiling. So this is old barn metal that actually came off of a barn. And we use the same kind of metal for our backsplash. I love it so much. It adds a nice rustic feel to the kitchen and to the whole house. There you go, guys. That is our tiny house. It doesn't really feel that cramped, does it? And that leads us into the frequently asked questions. So the first thing a lot of times Judah and I will get asked about our house is, how big is it actually? It is 448 square feet. That's outside dimensions, so it's actually a little smaller than that on the inside. Plus, you know, you've got like dryers and washers and stuff like that taking up space. So it's not like a super tiny house like some people have. It's 200 or 150 square feet, but honestly, I would not want to live in one of those. This is perfect for us. Another question we get asked a lot is, do you have a loft, and why or why not? So we do have a tiny little space right above our bathroom. So you can't really fit up there. We didn't want to, you know, sleep up there. That was going to be too cramped. But the reason we didn't have a big loft is because we wanted to be able to take this thing and move it down the road. And if it's much taller than this, our house is 12 feet from bottom to peak. If it's much taller than that, then you can't get it under a lot of bridges. And another question is, can you move your house? Yes, we can. Some tiny houses have wheels where you can basically just take them around like a camper. Ours is not like that. We wanted it to be a little more permanent than that, but you can still pick it up and put it on a big trailer and take it down the road. So we would not be able to do that. We'd have a moving company do that, like house movers who do that professionally. It's a little too tricky for us because it's, you know, it's 14 feet wide, so that's pretty decent going down the road, you know. Another question is, do you plan to stay here for a long time? And or when you have kids, would you stay in this house? So this was kind of our solution for when we got married. We wanted to cash flow building our own house. We didn't really want to rent because we wanted land, but we didn't want to put down a bunch of money right away for a big house and then be in debt, all that kind of stuff. So we were able to just have a simple little place to live that we didn't really have to have a lot of upkeep, and you know, we can move it, we can sell it, we can do whatever. So this is just kind of our temporary young 20s solution. We are 21 right now. We were 1920 when we started building it. Most likely we'll keep it for another year or two. We will not keep it once we have more than 1 kid, because 1 kid might be okay. We could stick a crib somewhere, but 2 kids, it'd get a little crazy. The last question I'm going to cover is one that we get asked a lot. It's, do you really like living in a tiny house? I do. I love the challenge of minimal living, seeing how little I can actually live comfortably with. It's a fun challenge for me. I will say there are a few cons, one being that it's hard to have guests over. You can't really have a ton of people over. We have had somewhere around 8 guests, and we just set up a big table down the middle of our house. We can fit them, but you know, you can't do much else. You have to pack up the table, and then you have room, but it's still a little cramped. Another thing is that we basically have 1 room besides our bathroom. So if I want to be sleeping and Judah wants to be up, you know, cooking food or making noise or whatever, I hear every single thing that happens. So that's one thing I'll be looking forward to, is just having more than 1 room. But for the most part, we love it. It's great. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciated it. If you liked this, share it with your friends. Put a comment down below if there was something really cool, or if you have any tips for us about, you know, storage or minimalism, anything like that. I would love to hear those. And if you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up. We would appreciate that. Remember to work hard, love your people, and never stop learning.